Alright, you guys, and welcome back to another video. Today is the final day of IAE, uh, day 8 or 9. Uh, Let me know in the comments down below. But today is RSI day, okay? Huge day. RSI is kind of like the hot new manufacturer. RSI is not a new manufacturer, but they're coming out with a lot of interesting ships. And we'll talk about the new concept ships as we go through this video, okay? So without further ado, we're just going to get right into it. And first off, we have the Apollo Medevac, okay, coming in at $275. This is the top tier kind of singular medical ship. It's not specifically a solo ship, but it is kind of a singular focus ship. Now, the larger medical vessels aren't medical specific. I'm referring to the Endeavour Hope and the Galaxy. They're not specific medical ships, but they have medical modules. Now, this is the premier largest dedicated medical ship. It has it does have modules in it where you can swap around the configuration of the medical beds in this ship. It's a very cool ship, and a lot of people are really looking forward to it. Again, it's been in concept for a little while now, and $275 is a decent amount of money. My opinion, it really hasn't moved around too much in price from what I've seen from my experience. In my personal opinion, I would hold off on this one. I believe right now, as a loaner, you get a Cutlass Red and something else. I'm not entirely sure. You guys fact check me and let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I would kind of pass on this one because the Price DC8 are the rescue variant and the Cutlass Red are kind of just fine for where medical gameplay is. Again, we don't have the full medical gameplay in the game right now, so what those medical ships offer in the game is kind of enough for now. Again, this is just the concept. Next, we have the Apollo Triage. I'm not entirely sure what's the difference between the Medevac and the Triage, but this is a little bit cheaper, and I do have to say I like the red paint scheme, this skin, a little bit more, and you're saving a little bit of money. So unless you specifically like the white paint scheme, I don't know. I think this is a little bit nicer. Next, we have the big ship of our side A. This is the Arastra. This is the dedicated middle tier mining ship from RSI. 3 mining lasers. We kind of looked at this thing. There was a 3D hollow viewer model of it when we went over the leaks video. This is a very cool ship. I'm also making a dedicated video on this ship. It's coming in at $575. Now, when I went ahead and looked at the specifications of this ship and kind of compared it to the Mole, I don't know. I kind of feel like this is a bit of a Mole killer right now, simply because if you're going out with, you and 3 other friends, what would you prefer taking? Would you take a Mole or would you take this thing? Because again, with the Mole, you're going to need the Expanse with you, okay? The Mole is 3 something, the Expanse is 150. You're basically around $500 for an Expanse and a Mole, and then you're going to need another person to operate the Expanse. I don't know. In my opinion, this is not a cheap price, but this is basically all you need to have the full gameplay loop. It's all contained on one ship. And again, if you do get a Mole and an Expanse, both of those ship has no vehicle bays. So this has 2 vehicle bays, so you can do ground mining, you can do refining, you can do, mining in an asteroid. It has the turrets, so you're not running around the ship. Everybody is on the bridge doing what they got to do. To me, this is the ship you want to get if you're in a mining org, or if you have 3 or 4 friends with you. In my opinion, it kind of makes no sense to go with a Mole. I think the Mole is dead after this. Now the mole's not coming out anytime. I mean, the Rastra is not coming out anytime soon. So I believe right now you're getting a mole as a loner. So you can kind of test out that gameplay and see if you like it. Now, again, very cool ship, 575. I would recommend it simply because I feel like this is all you need. At this point, you don't need an Orion if you really want, that mining flagship. If you really want to do crazy amounts of mining, yeah, maybe. But in my personal opinion, for friends, get this, and that's kind of all you need. You have the whole mining gameplay loop. You're not going to need any other ship after something like that. Then we have the Aurora CL. Okay, I believe that this is the cargo version. Yes, a favorite of traders and couriers alike. Has a bed to log out in. It has pretty good visibility. The handling is not too bad. Again, the cargo is good. 45 bucks. My only problem with this ship is that, something like the Drake Cutter has a lot more space in it. You could put a ground vehicle in the cutter. At $45, things are really competitive. Again, at the end of the day, this is not a bad ship, but, I just personally think the Drake Cutter is a better deal. If you really want this ship, you could buy it in game. But if you're going to go with kind of the best ship for $45, I would say that's the Drake Cutter. Okay, then we have the ES coming in at $20. This is currently the cheapest ship in the game, but it doesn't, and especially if you look at this price, again, the Aurora has a bed to log out in. It has a little bit of space for you to do box missions and whatnot. But this is actually cheaper than any of the game packages that you can currently buy. So, if you're a new player and you're interested in starting the game, you can't really get this. It's a downgrade from any starter ship that you would get with a game package. I see these things as more of kind of runabout ships, and this would be a good 10-year insurance token. Again, Auroras aren't bad ships, but there's just so many better options. Then we have the LN, $40. This is the combat Aurora, and this is actually not a bad ship. It has good missiles, good weapons. The flight characteristics are not bad. But again, $40. There are a lot better starter ships out there for around that price, and this ship is very cheap in game. So if you did really want it, I would just recommend buying it in game. Then we have the LX. This is supposed to be the luxury version of the Aurora, coming in at $35. I believe the difference with this is that it has like different materials on the inside. Again, not a huge use case for this ship. $35 is not a bad price though, but it's just so cheap in game. I don't recommend spending real money for it. Then we have the MR, built for direct intervention. I don't really know what that means. Coming in at $30. It has missiles, it has guns. It's a cheap ship, but it's even cheaper in game. No reason to spend real money on it. Then we have the Constellation Andromeda. Okay, this is the tried and true ship. Okay, this was my third ship, I believe. I started with an Aurora LN. Then I went up to a 300i. Then I got this. So this was my third ship ever in the game. And this was, this is Chris Roberts' favorite ship, the Constellation series anyways. And this was kind of like I think this was one of the largest ships that you could get with the hangar module back in the day. That was, actually in the hangar module that you could load in and walk around and look at and stuff like that. So this is a very old ship, and they did upgrade it and do like a full rework. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna it probably is going to get another rework. I think all ships are gonna get things for the resource management network and components and all that stuff. It's coming at $240. It's not cheap, but you compare it to things like the Corsair, and it's got good firepower compared to that ship. It doesn't have as many amenities. Again, with the Corsair, you have that kitchenette, you have that armory, you have a bedroom for each crew member, you have that captain's quarters, you have that larger, more spacious bathroom. You have that elevator. Again, this thing is pretty similar. You have the airlocks on the side, you have the elevator, you have the cargo elevator, you have a gun rack, you have bunk beds, you have a little kitchenette area that, I don't really think works right now. You have a lot of pilot control DPS, but what's nice about this thing is that you have the snub fighter. So it doesn't take up any of your cargo to actually have the snub fighter in there. And I do believe that this has a little bit more cargo than the Corsair. I think the Corsair has like 76 cargo and this has like 96 cargo. So it has more cargo and it has the snub fighter. It has very similar pilot control DPS. The Corsair and this thing handle similarly in atmosphere and in space. They're very closely matched ships. So in my personal opinion, it kind of comes down to styling and use case, what you're kind of more interested in, dealing with. In my personal opinion, I think they're really neck and neck. It's really anybody's game, but I think I would recommend this. $240 is very comparable. Then we have the Constellation Aquila. It's coming at $315. This is the exploration version all-rounder. It's not a bad ship. It also comes with the snub fighter in there. A lot of pilot control DPS. It's very similar to the Andromeda in that sense. It's not a bad ship. It's a very cool ship. I believe that one of the turrets in the front gets swapped out for a scanner or something like that. I could be mistaken. $315 is a lot more than the Andromeda, and exploration's not currently in the game. My advice is just buy the ship in game. If you want to get a Constellation series ship, I would get the Andromeda. This thing does have a very cool front glass window. The visibility out of it's a little bit better than the standard Andromeda, but I don't think that's worth that much more money. Then we have the Phoenix. In my opinion, this is basically one of the most luxurious ships in the game. You have, 3 staterooms. You have, area for the crew. You have the option, you have the bar. It's supposed to have jacuzzi. You still have that, garage on the bottom where you can park the links inside of, your components in the back. If you don't have a vehicle like the links in there, you can also carry a decent amount of cargo. This is a very cool ship for $350. So if you want a ship that's really just kind of good for sightseeing around the verse, I think the Phoenix is actually a better deal. So yeah, I would recommend this ship. Then we have the Taurus. This is kind of like the premier trading vehicle, kind of that medium to large size. You got a lot of cargo on this thing. It was originally when it originally went on concept, it was $150. It's now sitting at $200, so it's gone up in price a bit there. I believe all the Constellation series really has, because they're just such really good ships. You can see the VTOLs opening there. You can open and close the VTOL. You have a lot of pilot control DPS. This is a very formidable ship, and I believe it's coming in at like 175 SU. So you're getting roughly 25 more SU than something like the Freelancer Max, or you're getting a decent amount more SU than something like the Freelancer Max or the Zeus CL. But yeah, $200 is kind of like a decent chunk of change in my opinion. If you wanted to buy this in game, you could. They're not that expensive in game. Yeah, I think right now that where things are going with cargo, I do think that the elevator is kind of handy, because from the ground level of your hangar, you could load everything on the elevator and just send the elevator up. With cargo ramps, you do kind of have to finagle it inside of there, walking up and down the ramp every time. That can get old. So I don't know if there's really going to be a preference between ramps and elevators when it comes to loading and unloading cargo, but it's just something to consider. $200 is not crazy for what this ship is. I think that I would recommend this thing, but if you want to buy it in game, I think that's a perfectly good option too. Then we have the Galaxy, okay? The Galaxy is coming in at $380. This is a very cool ship because this is a modular ship, okay? It has a hangar in the back. It has, all the amenities needed for the crew. It has a captain's quarters. It has a commanding officer's room. It has all the other crew members' room. It has 3 remote turrets with 2 size 5 guns on them each. It has a pretty cool bridge up at the front, so you should have good visibility. And then it has the modular area in the middle. And what's interesting is the modules that this thing are compatible with. You have a medical module, you have a refinery module, you have a cargo module, and then we got a sneak peek during CitizenCon that this ship will also have a base building manufacturing module. So the 4 modules that this ship is capable kind of change the gameplay a little bit. And $380 is not a bad deal for what this ship can do. Again, you have that hangar in the back. It comes standard, I believe, with 64 SU of cargo. And then with the cargo module, I think it jumps up to 500 SU of cargo. So you can do some serious cargo hauling with this ship. This is kind of like RSI's medium tier ship before you go, well, kind of the large industrial ship from RSI. Okay, RSI has the larger military ships like the Bengal and the Polaris, but this is kind of like their large industrial ship aside from the Arastra. Again, the Arastra is mining, the Orion is mining. This is modular, so you can do different types of industrial things. Then we have the Lynx, okay? The Lynx is coming in at $60. This is a very cool ground vehicle. It's very luxurious. I know some people got it with their Constellation Phoenix. But if you want to purchase this thing separately, $60 is over my personal $50 threshold for, buying ground vehicles. So I don't recommend buying this with real money. I don't know if it's currently available to purchase in game, but it definitely will be, either by the end of the year or next year in Q1 of 2024. It doesn't really do anything special, and there's not a whole lot of gameplay for ground vehicles. It is nice that it is, completely enclosed. So if you're out on a planet that doesn't have an atmosphere, you don't have to worry about your suit running out of oxygen. But, that's basically the best thing that it's good for. And then we have the Mantis coming in at $150. This is the, interdiction ship. It can pull ships out of quantum. It can prevent them from going into quantum, but it doesn't have a lot of pilot control DPS. So this is a ship that you have to use with other people. A lot of pirates like this ship to capture traders. Yeah, it's designed for law enforcement or types of situations, but it's really used by pirates mostly. $150 is not a bad deal in my personal opinion. It's a cool ship and it is basically great at what it does. So if you want to spring for it and that that's the gameplay that you're really interested in, I would say go for it. Otherwise, again, buy it in game because these ships are not that expensive in game. Then we have the Orion, okay? The Orion is the primary large mining vessel from our side, larger than the Arastra. This ship, as I mentioned before, cannot land on a planet. It is designed for mining the supermassive asteroids in asteroid field. This has an onboard refinery, so you can mine and refine at the same time and then sell it, but you'll only basically be selling it to stations, which is interesting. Or maybe you'll be able to move these cargo pods off onto another ship to sell them. Again, the gameplay around the ship's not entirely ready yet. I think that's why CIG wanted to make the Arastra to kind of figure out that large scale asteroid mining first with the refining and everything. So, yeah, I think that when it comes to this ship, it's going to be interesting what the gameplay is going to look like. Again, I see this more as something for a large mining org, and less so just a couple of group of friends. If you're just like a group of friends, handful of friends, I would, go with the Rastra over this, and save yourself, what is it, like $65, because this will also probably go up in price. $650 is kind of low for what this ship is gonna end up being, and I wouldn't be surprised if it grows in scope before it is finally released. It's not a bad price if you have that dedicated, purpose for it. You know that you're in a big mining organ, this is what you want. Otherwise, I would say, pass on this one. Then we have the Perseus. The Perseus is really cool. It has 4 size 7 guns on it. It has torpedoes. It has amenities for the crew. It has a vehicle bay on the inside of it. This is kind of a great, kind of competition here. You see it, flying through the hammerhead. It's, destroying the hammerhead. It's supposed to be heavily armored. This is an old ship in lore. It has, dark in color on the side. It's coming in at $675 now. Then we have the big boy. We have the Polaris, okay, coming in at $750. This ship has a lot of torpedoes, big ones too. It has a lot of turrets, so you're gonna need a big crew with this. It has a lot of cargo, I think over 200 SC of cargo. This thing has a hangar that can fit a medium fighter in it, so you can, transport the fighter with you and defend the ship while you're out there battling the capital ships. This ship has a lot of amenities on board: captain's quarters, crew recreation area with a pool table, and dining hall type situation, medical bay, and it also has a brig so you can transport prisoners back to this thing. This is a very cool ship. $750 is not a crazy amount of money, in my opinion, for everything that offers you. Again, the Polaris is very capable, but this adds the larger torpedoes over the Perseus. It adds the ship hangar. It adds the medical bay for respawning. It adds the brig. It has a lot more cargo. In my opinion, for what is it, $65-$75 more, you're getting a lot more than the Perseus. But the downside is you have a lot more crew requirement. So if you're a group of maybe 2 or 3 friends, this ship is going to be a lot to manage for you. So the Perseus would be a better option. $750, I don't think it's a bad price if you want to pick it up now. It might go up in price, I don't know. But yeah, it's not available in game yet, so you can't buy it in game. And this is a good opportunity to get it with 10-year insurance. And then we have the Scorpius and the Scorpius Antares. I'm going to kind of lump these in together. The Scorpius version has a turret on top for your co-pilot. The Antares has an interdiction device, EMP type situation, guns and missiles. The co-pilot adds a lot of DPS to the regular Scorpius. In the Antares, the co-pilot just operates the EMP. So yeah, the co-pilot doesn't really have as many things to do on the Antares. The Scorpius is only $10 more. I think it's a good heavy fighter. You can buy these in game. They're not crazy, or if you can't, you will be able to. Yeah, I advise buying them in game. $240, in my opinion, is a lot of money for a fighter. It is a good fighter though. So if you do want to swing it, yeah, you can, and you won't be disappointed, in my opinion. A lot of people have purchased this thing and they're very happy with it. The Antares, on the other hand, a lot of people aren't really a huge fan of it. At $230, it's more money than the Zeus MR. And the Zeus MR is also an interdiction ship. Of course, this is a fighter, so it's going to be a lot more maneuverable. But I feel like if you do an interdiction type gameplay, you're trying to disable the ship. You're not really trying to dogfight them. You're going to go with a dogfighter probably. Once you have that ship disabled, you're going to use your turrets to kind of get to them and do whatever you got to do. With this ship, it has even less it has even less overall DPS because the co-pilot does not have a turret anymore. So once you have stopped whatever ship you're going after, It's really just up to the pilot to, deal with that situation. My personal opinion, the Scorpius is the regular Scorpius is the one to go for. And then we have the Ursa Rover. Okay, the Ursa Rover is ground vehicle. It's just like the Lynx. It has 4 seats inside. It's kind of like a small troop transport vehicle. Because it's fully enclosed, you don't have to worry about atmosphere. It does have 2 pilot control size 1 guns up there. It is pretty durable. With these 6 wheels, it's also very stable. It's coming at $50. This is right at that barrier of the ground vehicle price point to go for. It's coming in with 10-year insurance. It's not a bad, I don't think it's a bad recommendation. But yeah, still, it's so cheap in game. Why spend real money on it? Then we have the Zeus CL. This is kind of one of the hardest ships, concept ships out right now, okay? It has a tractor beam on the back. It has 122 roughly SU of cargo on the inside. It has good crew amenities with a, bunk room, bathroom, kitchenette. You can see the window on the side here. It has an underslung turret. It has suit lockers. It has an airlock with a docking collar and a ladder at the front, so you don't have to take the ramp every time. You can go in the ladder to the airlock to the cockpit. It's a very interesting ship coming at $150. It is very competitive with the Freelancer Max and the new C1. So I think it's a pretty good price. It does have my recommendation to pick it up. And then we have the Zeus Mark II ES, $150 again. It has one more shield than the Zeus CL, so this has 4 size 2 shields. I mean, that's a lot of shields for an exploration ship. Has less cargo though. But other than that, it's very similar to the CL, but that less cargo, I think it only has 32 SU of cargo. In my opinion, that extra shield, it's a take it or leave it type situation. I prefer having the more cargo than the extra shield. 3 medium shields is a lot for a ship this size. Again, it is smaller than the C1. The C1 has 1 medium shield. This has 3 medium shields. So it has a lot more shields than the C1 and a lot more cargo. This has less cargo than the C1 and way more shields than C1 at 4. I just don't think you need 4 size 2s. It is an exploration ship, so that's why it has that many size 2 shields. But it's a cool ship. I just think I could use the extra cargo more than that one extra size 2 shield, basically is what I'm saying. If you were a cargo runner, you had 4 size 4s, I mean, that would be great. But with 32 SU cargo, I don't really think that's enough. But you can carry, ground vehicles and that type of stuff. Again, it's currently in concept, so things might change around, but it's a very cool ship, $150. I would get the CL over this. I did purchase the CL over this. Then we have the MR coming in $190. You have the prisoner pods, you have an armory. Again, you have the crew, you have the, docking collar, airlock, entrance at the front here. But then you also have that interdiction device up at the top here. So you can prevent ships from entering into quantum, I believe. At $190, this is a very good price. And I believe it also has an EMP. So this is, cheaper than the Antares. It's not a fighter per se, but you do have those 2 gun turrets. So you and 2 other friends go out. You have the storage if you're looking to pirate people. You prevent someone going into quantum, use your EMP to disable them, you shoot them with the turrets, you take their cargo and put in your cargo. I think this might be a popular pirate ship as well. All in one, without bringing out a bunch of different ships. You could just take this. If you're doing bounty hunting and you're going after other players, you can put them in those prisoner pods and take them to security drop-off locations. $190. Again, this is cheaper than Antares. It's cheaper than if you were to buy a Mantis and something else. And again, if you're bounty hunting or pirating, you might not need to pull someone out of quantum. Again, if you run across a cargo hauler on a planet, for instance, you just need to kind of prevent them from going into quantum. So $190, I think, is a very good price point, and this ship easily has my recommendation. Okay, and that's it. we're back on the Apollo here. So long video. Thank you guys for watching. This is the last video of IAE, the last manufacturer day. After this is best in show and the finale wrap up. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this IAE. It has been an amazing Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. I know this was a long video. I know my last video was a long video. You guys have been enjoying them, commenting. I love hanging out with you guys. I respond to all the comments from you guys. I love reading them. So yeah, please comment. It has been awesome. You know, I'm going to have my final thoughts about IAE, wrap it up in the next coming videos. You know, we're still doing these videos every day right now. I'm going to see, you know, what my schedule is looking like moving forward, but yeah, a lot more exciting videos coming on the way, so definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me here today, you guys. Like I always say at the end of these videos, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Salut.